Hello, welcome everyone at Friends of Figma Community Workshop in collaboration with LottieFiles. And we have two of the best experts with us, Sanjib, who is the senior motion designer at LottieFiles, and Yamin, who's the partnership manager. And today we're gonna have a very interactful session. First, let me just introduce a bit about the Friends of Figma community. We are a vibrant design community, and we are based in Lahore, Pakistan. We have a hub of grateful designers, innovators who are passionate about design and who learn more and more about design. And we are a world of UI UX designers majorly, and we focus to develop a community, a space for every junior designer who is, wanted to grow and learn more within this field. And we are here to push all the designers who are, looking forward to be in this field. So this is a short introduction for our community. We have been doing a lot of events, a lot of workshops with other communities as well in collaboration. And today it's specifically going to be with LottieFile guys, and we are really excited to have you guys. Firstly, thank you so much for joining us. And moreover, today's session is going to be very interactful. It is going to be a workshop, and we're gonna learn more about what are Lottie files, a quick overview, and how the lightweight animations work, and integrating Lottie files into Figma, step-by-step guidance. And we're gonna have the best of the practices guided by Yamin and Sanjeev. All right, guys, I hope I have justified your introduction.
Yeah, that was good enough. I mean, I put a question in the chat as well. I mean, you guys have any more to present, or should we start?
Yeah, you guys can start.
All right. So, hi, my name is Yamin. So, I put a question in the chat. Just feel free to be very honest. It doesn't matter even if you are a zero, even if you're one. Just feel free to. We just want to see what your you know, like what's your capability with Figma, so that while we do the workshop we can actually dumb it down a little bit as well. If you are not familiar, I will be taking this very very slow so that you guys can ask us any questions that you have. So don't worry about anything. Just feel free to interrupt us. Motion design sometimes can be scary, but we'll show you how LottieFiles is making it easy for you guys as well. So before I start, of course, hi, my name is Yamin, and with me I have Sanjeev. Sanjeev can literally break the plugin. I'm just a guy who learns from Sanjeev, so you guys get today to do a lot of stuff with Sanjeev and me. So what we all know is that motion design now powers everyday designs. I've been talking all the way from Google, Telegram, Golingo. All these big companies are actually using motion to power up their designs to actually make motion better. Now, of course, Lottie is a file format that made motion on the web possible. If you are not familiar with what a Lottie is, it's higher in quality, smaller in file size, easy datable, and support on all major platforms. And today, you guys are actually pretty lucky because now we have an even smaller file format called a .lottie, which is a compressed file format, but is still higher in quality, small, even smaller in size, and easily adaptable and easy to use. And nowadays, we also have a steering committee for Lottie as well, which is run by Google, LottieFiles, and Airbnb, and a bunch of other smaller communities, where we are actually making Lottie a file format that is used by on every single platform out there. We're making it a standard format. So, Lottie Files, if you're wondering what we are, where we are the motion design platform where all these 10 million designers and developers from amazing brands come together to actually work on motion. What we do is we provide tools, we provide ways you can actually collaborate with your team, and of course, we provide an easy way for you to actually implement your animation. And like I said, our mission is very simple. We just want to enable motion, which means easy for you to create an animation with your favorite design tools, starting with even Figma today, which you're going to learn, After Effects, even our own creator tool, and ways for you to collaborate with your team to actually implement animation from your favorite no-code design tools such as Framer, Webflow, and all these tools out there like Bubble, to even collaborate with your teams to actually make that happen. And of course, end of the day, implementing that animation on any of the products out there. So today, since you guys are designers, What we're doing today with every designer out there with this workshop is we are trying to unlock your superhero power, where you can actually create an animation, design with an animation, of course, implement an animation. And hopefully by the end of today, you guys can actually explore this out. And so
Right.
today's workshop is pretty simple. What's going to happen is you're going to learn how to create Lottie animations using Figma just by connecting a few frames. Figma doesn't allow you to actually export an animation, but we have a tool which allows you to create a Lottie animation within Figma without actually exiting Figma at all, using Smart Animate and actually making it happen. So what's going to happen is it's going to be a 2 hours workshop. You're going to learn how to create animations with us. I mean, Sanjib, and of course, end of the session, there's going to be a challenge. And once you submit your animation, you can actually get certified from LottieFiles. And of course, today, no After Effects. All of these were made in Figma. This is some of the animations we've been trying out. You only require Figma and Lottie files. And if you want to learn more after this workshop, you can actually visit lottiefiles.com/education, where we have a lot of tools, a lot of education materials out there which you can actually follow. And of course, if you have any questions after the workshop, feel free to reach out to me at community@lottiefiles.com, and we'll be more than happy to actually answer your question as well. You can also join our community channel as well, which is www.lottie.community, where all of us actually hang out. And I'll share the link to that after this session. So let's actually get started. All right. That's the boring part. Now for the interesting stuff. All right. Here we go. All right. So if you guys, so we're going to be using one Figma file for this entire workshop. So if you want to join in, oh, sorry, let me just go here. I'll just copy this as a text, and I'll put in the chat. Here we go. So we're going to be using this one Figma file. You guys are welcome to come in and join with us and actually do this entire workshop along with us. So it's actually more hands-on. I'm not going to show you a lot of tutorials. You're going to actually animate with me today. So feel free to join in. And also, there's some stuff that we actually need to go through today. And these are also some questions that we get asked in a lot of these workshops. So the first question, I think I did ask in the chat as well, like what's your skill required to actually do this workshop? Well, the thing is that for this workshop, we require two skills. One is, of course, how to add a frame. There we go. And the second thing is how to add a shape. Now, if you already know how to do these two things, you are actually halfway done with this workshop. So even if you have a two, even if you have one, you will be fine today. And we'll take you through this step by step. Now, of course, the second thing is what's the level of animation we expect? Well, um, it can be as simple as this example up here. It can be as simple as this button that you can create. If you want to go crazy, by all means, you can create something like this running Pikachu made using our plugin. You can even create animated icons such as this as well. It's totally up to you. We are not judging. Remember, this is not a animation workshop. You are actually in a motion design workshop where you are going to be creating micro interactions. So just feel free, feel relaxed. We don't have a very high expectation out of this workshop. We just want you to learn the foundation so that you in the future can actually create something very cool and very complicated. All right. So the third question. A lot we get this question a lot. At the end of the workshop, I'm going to explain how you can actually get certified. We have a final challenge where you after you are done with the workshop, you can create a simple animation. You can submit the frames to us, and we will check out what you guys have done, and we will actually certify you. And of course, oops, sorry, I actually don't have Sanjeev's name here. Sorry, Sanjeev. If you have any questions, even during the workshop, just feel free to tag us while you do the workshop, so that if even if you think your question is very silly or anything, if anything's not working out for you, just feel free to tag us anytime until the deadline date for the submission of the animation. All right. So before we start, any questions? Do you guys have access to the link? That's my first question. Is everyone good with that? Maybe a thumbs up in the chat.
Yeah, we have the access.
All right, cool. For anyone joining a little bit late, let me also share the link again. There we go. All right, let's get started then. So first things first, um, you have to install the plugin. So how do you actually install the plugin? Well, you can actually visit our page, lottifiles.com/Figma, where you can actually, let me just show you this screen so it's easy. So once you go to the link, you can actually go here and click install on Figma. So sometimes people are not able to find the link, even when you search through the browser, like plugins browser. But if you're not able to find it, just go here, go to install on Figma, and just open the plugin in the design file, so you can actually access the plugin. If you're able, you can also find a plugin here. Just go here, go to plugins and widgets, type LottieFiles, and there you go. You can also find the plugin that way. If you're not able to find the plugin, let us know. Feel free to put in the chat. Sanjib can actually help you out to actually find the plugin and actually debug it for you as well. All right, let me close this. All right, the second thing, little bit about the plugin. So the plugin itself was actually made back in 3 years ago, where we wanted people to actually access. Um, sorry, yeah, we actually wanted people to actually access our library of free animations and actually insert them inside your plugin. I mean, inside your prototype. So the main thing that we did before was that, for example, let's say you have a prototype, we actually made it easy for you to go through a discover and actually browse through all of these free animations, click the animation and actually insert it into your prototypes. So Figma doesn't natively support Lotties right now, but we allow people to actually insert it as GIFs, so that when you do a handoff, this GIF here actually has the metadata, so that your developer can pick up for the metadata and actually find the file from our workspace and actually add back in production as a Lottie. All right. So you can also have private workspaces. We can create private workspaces and actually add that from a private workspace into your designs as well. So we also have a couple of other tools. So we have been investing a lot in, of course, AI. Everyone's saying AI, AI, AI. We have been investing in AI as well. I'm not going to go through this in detail today, but you can actually go here. We can even put a prompt, and it would actually generate you a custom-made vector file, which you can actually use in your designs or even animate as well. You can even create your own style. So simply feed the system few 5 or 10 design styles, and it would actually start creating based on your design style as well. All right. Second thing is, of course, this is something I face on a regular basis as a designer. A lot of times clients would send me a vector file as PNG or a JPEG file. So now we kind of have that solved as well. So you can actually put in a raster image, like anything PNG, even a GIF as well, and it would actually generate you an SVG file. You can start animating as well. And last thing, of course, even if you make a lot of animation from another tool, you can still import it using our tool into Figma as well. And so today, our main target is to actually teach you guys how to actually animate. So you can, we're going to be doing this entire workshop around this tool called Export to Lottie, where you can actually export an animation using our plugin. So let's get started. All right, just before we start, a few things to keep in mind. These are two things that you have to be worried about. So like I said, a frame and of course a layer. All right, let's put it here. So a frame will be considered as your main canvas. So anything that you make inside the frame is what's going to be rendered. So make sure that you don't resize frames when you do this entire workshop today. And what you're going to be manipulating and animating is what's inside the frame. So any layers, any photos that you want to put in, that's what you're going to be actually animating. All right. So Basically, there are two things as well, and I'm going to go through this when we do the workshop as well. Right, let's get started. So, how you can actually animate with LottieFiles, and what we're trying to do, of course, to enable motion, is we want to work with designers to make a designer's life easy. Not every designer wants to actually go through an animation process and actually animate. Some actually just have a design and just want it to move or do some very cool stuff. So the first way that you can actually animate with Lottie files is with a single frame. And feel free to grab this. So just letting you guys know, I have a lot of workspaces below which you can actually use during this entire workshop. So feel free to grab a space down below as well. All right, back to this. So the first thing is, of course, you can actually click a single frame. You can, let's say, you can make a frame and actually add some shapes in. Let me just add this one more shape, change the color. I can click the single frame and go to export to Lottie. And there you go, your first animation done with just a single frame. And for a single frame, we provide multiple presets. For example, you can use rotate, you can use this pulse. You can actually go here to settings and actually play with the duration. And now you have an animation done with just a single frame. Feel free to test it out. Um, just can actually copy this frame, go down there below and as well. So even with this frame, go to export to Lottie. You can actually choose multiple things. You can even choose stream path as well, which I'm going to show a little bit later as well. And you can create a lot of cool animations with just a single frame. And don't worry, this is not it. We have so much more that you can actually do. This is just the beginning where we actually allow you to actually animate using this is one frame. We're going to show you much cooler stuff in a little bit as well. You can even, let's say you have a path file, which you can actually done. All right, let's move this. All right. For your question, Shahid, so these are just pre-made animations, pre-made presets that we actually have for single frame. Don't worry, we have other ways you can actually make more customized animations as well. Don't worry about that. I'm gonna go through that a little bit as well. For paths that you can actually have, like you drew a stroke and you have a path actually done. You can even click a single path and actually go here, and you can even choose trim path. And now you have the Apple Hello just done with a single frame. And this also works for others as well. You can even do a thumbprint as well. Go trim path. Go back here. Go to parallel. And now you have the thumbprint animation done with just a single click. And don't worry, we're not going to spend a lot of time with this. I just want to show you guys that you can actually do with a single frame. The main thing is, of course, how do you actually go away from these presets and actually create a little bit more complicated animations from going from a single frame, of course, going to multiple frames. Again, feel free to grab these. You can go grab these down here and just start experimenting out. I'll give you guys like 5 to 10 minutes just for you guys to experiment out with the single frame. All right. Yeah, thank you, Sanjib. So it's not actually pre-made animations, but it's actually, let me just show you. So it's actually presets that are actually available for a single frame. So you can even do things like move in, move out. Since it's a single frame, we provide you like a lot of presets so you can actually make a quick animation with just one single frame. So one thing to remember, always put it in, always put your layers in a frame. So the plugin renders what's inside a frame. Even if you just put a shape, it won't actually render. So put it inside a frame and it will be all good. Fusita, your question, you don't actually have to submit an animation here. Don't worry, I'll take you guys a little bit later on the animation submission. Yeah, thanks, Sanjay. All right, I see that you guys have already started with some cool stuff. It's pretty cool. Yeah, just remember, put it inside a frame. Even if you render the section, it won't work. Put it inside a frame in the section. All right, I see that you guys are now already pros with a single frame. Um, I could probably tell you guys that this is all we have for the workshop, but of course, it might be a little bit more disappointing. So that's here, move on. So now I'm going to actually take it a little bit further. I'm going to take this single frame animation and I'm going to show you guys how you can actually add more controls to this. Now, of course, I love what's happening in the screen. I see if, yeah, I guess I did. I see what's going on. I love what's going on in the single frame. I see this pulse happening, but I don't actually have a lot of controls on how it's actually happening. So one thing that we know when we work with designers don't actually want to go through keyframes and want to go through the entire process of learning motion principles and how to actually animate. So one thing that you can actually do is let's just say I'll take this single frame and I'm gonna paste this. All right. Now let's say I wanted to move in a certain way. So what I can actually do is I can copy this frame. And this is called for smoke animating multiple frame. What I can actually do is I can take it to another frame. And what I'm gonna do is I want the circle to actually go instead of like doing that pulse, I want it to work in a little bit different way. I want the circle to get smaller, and of course I want the circle to get bigger. What I can actually do is I can come here and let me just put in a sign. Let me just put it as 100. All right. And okay, let's say I want the circles to appear this way in the middle, and then I want it to actually go back to this. Now, with multiple frames, what you can actually do is now I can just go back, click all this, and when I press export to Lottie, right, there you go. Now I'm actually able to add a little bit more control. Now, if you're thinking, so with multiple frames, you can add as much frames as you want to. Some people love to like go for 100 frames, 200 frames, doesn't matter. The main thing is that with this, you're actually able to add more controls. Now, let's say I wanted to move in a certain way. I can just go here. I can move this thing around. I can go here, press refresh. And now, there you go. And now if you're thinking if you want to add one more frame, just copy the frame, add one more frame. Let me just make it a little bit more of a design kind of thing. Go back, click all the frames again, export to Lottie, and now I have this. Spend like 10 minutes just playing around with it. The main thing that you have to keep in mind when you do this entire thing, and what you need to also always keep in mind when animate with LottieFiles with Figma, is to make sure that every frame has the same layers in each of the frame. Um, and of course, also make sure that the layer names remain the same. And you would actually be able to master LottieFiles with Figma very quickly. So spend like 5-10 minutes, and I'll show you even something a lot more cool that you can actually do beyond just adding a few frames.
I have a question here, Yamin.
Sure.
Yeah, we don't need to like attach the or link the frames like we do usually in prototype to make that one particular animation. We just need to
Yeah.
select and keep the frame names same, right?
Not the frame names, what's inside the frame, the layer names. So
The
the
layer
layer
name.
names, yeah, those need to be the same. I will show you how you can do a lot more magic with prototyping, but this is just before prototyping.
All right, all right. But this looks more easier and cooler, you know?
I will change your mind about prototyping by the end of the session.
Looking forward to that then.
Yeah. Let me also check what you guys are creating. I saw. Oh, all right. If you don't mind, I'm gonna select all this. Let me see what it looks like. Wow, this is really cool. So yeah, you can also play with colors as well. What's supported on our plugin? Colors, gradients, strokes. So I don't know if I'm missing anything. Colors, gradients, strokes, shadows. Top shadows are supported. Layer blends are also supported. And what else? What else? What else? Blur is also supported as well.
Rounded corners are also supported.
Rounded corners are supported as well. Thank you, Sanjeev. The most important thing, rounded corners. Cool. See, the moment you say rounded corners, people love to put the rounded corners. I see. Wow. See, there you go. Jennifer's already a pro.
Yeah, this looks really cool.
And again, try to be crazy with your designs. The best way to also learn is to just go crazy. Like for even for us, one thing about our community, we have a huge community of motion designers, and we actually learn from them. Anytime that we do any of these events, we're actually learning as well. So try to go as crazy as much as possible. Try to break the plugin by the end of these 2 hours, and I will consider that as the biggest win for this entire session.
Also, Yamin, I just wanted to point out something. Let me know if it is correct. So we need to make sure that we have all the layers in all the frames for the
Yes.
animation to work. And also we need to make sure that all the layer names of the shapes are unique. Um, this is something that we need to keep in mind, right? Or
Yes.
same layer
Yes.
names also does the job.
So yeah, thanks Sanjeev for that. So but I think I just did maybe elaborate on that a little bit as well. So you have to make sure that so for example, let's say if you're manipulating shapes, so you are actually manipulating what's inside the frame. So one thing to always keep in mind is, let's say, okay, I'm gonna start a little bit fresh here. I'm gonna add this circle, maybe add a triangle, and let me also add another star. Let me just go random. Right. So, like Sanjeev said, what's important to also keep in note. So you have all these names here, right? Which is star 4, polygon 9. Uh, let me just, yeah, yeah. So star 4, polygon 9, and for eclipse 7283. What would actually happen if I change the name of this, for example? And let's say I go to another frame. Just move this around, and then maybe call, I don't know, maybe call this eclipse 2978. So what's going to happen when you do this is, so the plugin reads each layer, each frame. They do each frame, and then they read each layer by layer. And when you change the names, yeah, there you go. So now it's not actually able to understand what's the changes that needs to be made um, from one frame to the other, because we have actually changed the layer name in each of the frames. So, and what would actually happen is when you put the same name on all of it. Oh, sorry, 7283 is that now will actually see the shapes actually moving. So one thing to keep always in note is that the layer names should be the same, so that the plugin understands the difference is happening from each frame to the other, so that the animation will actually happen. Right. Thanks, Sanjib, for pointing that out. Yeah. And again, we'll go through that. So what would actually happen if you have the same name? The plugin also might start getting confused as well, depending on the data which is put in by Figma. So it's always important to actually have a unique name for each layer as well. All right, let's actually move on. These are actually not the cool stuff. Let's actually move on to the cool stuff. So now we are actually going to go to animating with prototypes. So I'm going to take the same example I made just now with the circles. So if we go here and if we see, right, it's actually moving based on what the plugin is, how the plugin actually is kind of predefining for us how the shape should move. So now the question is, of course, what if you can actually put a lot more control in how actually it transitions from frame to frame? So that is something that our plugin is entirely built on. We built the entire plugin on the smart animation function, which means you can actually go to prototype, go here, select, go to smart animate. And now I can actually start making custom transitions between one frame to the other. For example, let's say for this, I want it to be bouncy. You can even add spring animations as well. And maybe for this, I want to maybe ease out. I can even add a custom Bezier as well. If you're wondering how the LottieFiles logo came in, this is how it was actually done. This is what it represents. All right, and then for this, maybe I'll add a ease out. And then once this is done, okay, I'll call this example circle. Go back. I can go here, go select prototype. All right. Oh. Let's go back one more time. Right, here you go. Example circle. Click this. And now I'm actually able to add a lot more control in how the animation transitions from one to the other. And now if you want to like maybe change a little bit, say I don't like this and I want it to move in a little different. Maybe I want an ease in, ease out. And maybe I want the duration to increase. Just go change the noodle, the details inside the connection between one frame to the other, refresh, and there you go. How you can actually add prototyping to actually define your animation a little bit better from just having multiple frames into creating something a lot more cooler. So spend like 5-10 minutes, experiment out with it. Just keep in if you guys want any examples, just click this Lottie Lake Figma examples, and we have tons of animation inspirations you guys can also grab as well. Again, these are all free. Oops, sorry. Yeah, just come in. You can copy any animation from here and actually paste it inside the workspace as well. Feel free to try it out. But the main thing is, of course, if you guys want to add more controls, you can actually use prototyping to add a little bit more control and make your animation even more funkier. I'll just spend 5-10 minutes, and then I will show you how you can also add motion principles in the animation. One motion principle example on how you can actually add motion principles inside your Figma animation. All right. As you guys go through the inspirations, let me also check out what you guys are doing. Wow. Sanjib, I don't think we need this course. I think we'll probably be done very quick because everyone's a pro already.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yeah, I mean, you can add some prototypes here, and we will probably make it a lot more funky. Oh, this is very interesting. I was gonna do this exact same thing next. All right, here we go. Oh, it's not connected. Okay. Okay, let me check this one out. 461. Oh, this is pretty cool. Nice. All right, I see this is work in progress. Let me just clear it out a little bit. Give some time for that to be created. Give a couple of questions in the chat. All right. First of all, so for your query, that's actually Hangout after this session. I'll help you out. It might be a very simple issue. All right. All right, let's see. I'm just going to random click something. All right. Oh, it's not done yet. All right, okay. Wow. I'm assuming that's from Jennifer. I've seen that one already. That's actually a pretty good example. I'm going to actually use that to actually show you guys how you can create something very cool from the entire spinning thing. All right, Shahid, so when using, I understand you've grabbed the multivariate component example here. So when you are using components, there's a little bit of difference that would actually help you out. We're gonna actually show, Sandeep's actually gonna show you a little bit more advanced stuff you can do with components later. But yeah, feel free to mess around with it for now. Somebody's trying. Okay, so if the plugin seems to be stuck on loading, it could be because a couple of issues, might be internet issue as well. What you can also do is you can open the plugin on your own file, and maybe you can actually follow us while we do the entire thing, or feel free to like duplicate this file and make a copy of this file and start working on the stuff as well. If that's not working out for you, if you're connecting from an office laptop or stuff, there might be an issue as well. So what you can also do is go to our browser and actually I'll go to Figma browser and find the plugin as well. Both of them will work out. And again, this entire thing is available. I think it's been recorded. So if you want to submit the animation after, you can watch the recording and do the final submission on your own time as well. All right. All right. All right. So while you guys are also working on, yeah, see that you guys are creating some very cool stuff. So with the plugin, um, you can also add motion principles as well. So let me actually grab something I saw. Oh, here we go. Sorry, Madani, I'll actually grab your bouncing ball here. Maybe let me just experiment out with it a little bit. All right. So thing about the Figma plugin is, of course, as long as um, Figma supports a lot of stuff, you are actually able to do a lot of cool things. So, for example, here, I'm just borrowing this shapes from Melanie here. As you can see, she's actually trying to make a bouncing ball. You can actually add motion principles like squish and actually make a lot of cool animations using the plugin. Now, for example, let's say we have this bouncing ball. Let me also maybe edit a little bit. I'll make the size of the circle a little bit small. So now I have a start. Let me just go to the next frame. I'm going to put it up. And of course, I'm going to add a little bit of a squish. Hit this again. Come back here. Like this. Do this. And then, of course, add a squish again for the impact it would have on the ground. Grab the circle again and put it back in. So now I can just add maybe an ease out. Go here, click linear. So one thing is to keep in mind, if you are new to any of the motion curves or anything, linear is when you want to do a transition between two things in a without any disturbance. Like when you don't want it to slow down, you don't want it to slow down at the start or slow down at the end. You don't want anything else to happen. If you want it to just go from straight from one to the other, use linear. Ease in, ease out is actually used. Like if you want to ease at the start, you can use ease in, and then of course ease out is if you want the animation to slow down at the end. Again, you can actually experiment out with it. There is no correct way to use it. Again, all this it depends on how you see the animation and what actually works best. So now there you go. Now I'm actually able to add motion principles and actually make something like this very easily using the plugin. So now I actually have this bouncing ball right now. And of course, if I want to keep editing this, and I can just make that simple edit there. And now you can actually make stuff like this and actually add it into the design. One thing again to keep note of is that all this depends on what you're actually trying to create, and all this is possible with the plugin. So now let's say I want to do like a layer blur. I can do that as well. Let's go back, add that back in, increase the size. I'm here again. And again, like Sanjib mentioned before, make sure that even the layering is correct as well. If you have it on different, like if you have one layer on the front and then in the next one if you have it at the back, there might be some problems in rendering. So that's as a good practice. Make sure that the layers also remain the same in each of the frame. The hierarchy of the layering remain the same. So again, I'll go here, press refresh, and there you go. Oops. Let me just go back here. Paste this. refresh, and now there you go. Now I got a bouncing ball. And there are so many things you can also pull off as well. Let's say you want to do like a light trail. I can do that as well. Yeah, just feel free to grab these. All these files that we're making in this workshop are you for you guys to know. Once you learn the basics, for you guys to go back to your own time, experiment out with it. So many things you can also create. So can a shape be added midway in a frame? So you can edit, but let's say, for example, okay, example, if a bird were to fly horizontally through the frame. So what you can actually do is give an idea of how Lottie animations work. So Lottie animations are multiple data files, and you are actually manipulating it to actually make an animation. So for example, let's say you want, let's just pretend this is a bird. Yeah, let's just pretend this is a bird. I know this is not the best bird, but let's just pretend this is a bird. And you kind of want it to fly from left to right. So what you can actually do is, let's say this is not in the frame. We can actually hide it out, keep it in every one of the frames. Oops, sorry, give me a sec. And let's say you want on this frame for the bird to go from left to right. You can do that and just keep it there. And now, there you go. So that's the principle you have to follow. You still can keep all of it in every one of the frames. Just make sure that when you want it to fly out in the third or fourth frame, just move it from left to right so that it is available. Even if you wanted to, let's say, come in the middle, you can do that as well. Let's say you want it to come here, skip it here. Now, of course, it comes down and it goes away. I hope that answers the question. You're welcome. All right. Before I head over to Sanjib to show off the cool stuff, let me see what you guys are. Well, you guys are already, I can feel that you guys are already experts. Let me check out this sunrise that we have here. All right, here we go. Wow. This is nice. Ooh, yeah. All right, so one thing to keep note, push doesn't work. So only two things work, instant and smart animate. So don't use push. So if you go to smart animate, there you go. And also don't resize frames. So when you resize frames, as you can see, there's a problem. So think of the frame as your artboard. Right? So it is your art space. So don't resize the frame as well. So when you have the same frame, yeah, there you go. Should be fine. 5841660. Let me just saying this for you to 1660. All right, now, no issue. All right, so just before I hand it over to Sanjeev to show you even more cooler stuff on who can make more complicated stuff, let me show you how you can actually make a very cool loading animation, light trail loading animation, just by using LottieFiles for Figma. All right, so now, of course, what we support a lot of things with the plugin. One thing that we also support is um, any gradients for strokes. So for example, I can actually pull off a lot of cool things just by using the plugin. All right, so now we have this stroke applied for this circle. Copy that. And let me just go to the stroke below. Yep, here we go. Go to effects, go to layer blur, and now I can actually have this layer blur edit. Let me add one more layer on top. Go to 8, and let me also change the color a little bit here to yellow. Add one more layer. Just decrease the size of the layer. Go back, click 1, click the layer below. All right, here we go. And something which is also supported all of this, you can actually go here and select color dodge. And so now I have this light trail. Copy this frame. And again, feel free to stop me if you guys want to ask more questions how this is achieved. I can actually go here. Let me just turn it around. So rotation and spin can also be done with our plugin as well. And of course, Sanjib is the master. I hope I don't disappoint him today. So once you apply 179, of course, you want it to kind of spin it back into this position. So what you can actually do is go here and then put in 1.95. 1.95 is a random number. And you can actually go back here, go to prototype, click linear here as well. Let me just rename this light trails tutorial. And there you go. Now you have a Apple type light trail loading animation. And what you can also do is you can keep copying this and maybe change the colors. All right. All right. All right, Sanjit. 179. I'll just go back here. Maybe select all the frames from this. Go back here. And then instead of minus, I'm here, I'm going to put minus 1.95. And so now, there you go. And again, you can keep adding stuff in. You can create a lot of really cool stuff. And there are tons of things you can actually achieve using layer blur and layer burn. You can make lava lamps. And again, of course, after you do all of that, you can actually export it out as a Lottie and start using it on your systems as well. So before Sandeep comes back, maybe go through one more thing as well from the plugin side. So there are ways that you can avoid errors when you are actually using our plugin. One thing to keep note is, so like Sanjeev said, if you have the same layer name and if it's not well defined, this is a potential error that could happen. The plugin reads the unique layer names as a foundation to actually change data from one frame to the other. So if you have the same layer name, this could be something that can actually happen. It might read the next frame. It might read the layer on the next frame as a from a different layer and actually start manipulating it in a different way. So one thing is, for example, let's say you have here, and just say all of these are called Eclipse. Or it could even be a shape as well. So if you make a couple of frames, and even if you change a little bit, chances are that this error could happen, unless, of course, the properties. For the frames, no. You can rename, the frame name doesn't have to be the same. It's only the layer names that has to remain the same. I mean, in terms of like the unique name that has to be. But if you have the same layer name for each of the layers, what's going to happen is the plugin might get confused in terms of this. Let's say you have a green circle, and you go, the plugin might read the on the next frame might read the red circle. So if you want to actually do in a good practice, just make sure each of them has a unique name ID. It could be something as simple as this. Just make sure that it has a unique name ID, so this error doesn't actually happen. The last thing is, of course, I think this was a question that was asked by Maha. Like, can you actually have something which to go actually go in the middle of your entire prototype? Chances are this is also an error that could actually happen. So layer one to layer one, that would work. Of course, layer two, and suddenly you rename the layer to layer two, it could potentially go and get an error because your path points might be different in different shapes. So make sure again layer names remains the same. Let's say you suddenly delete a layer, or you can actually add a layer. There is a chance that an error could actually happen because what you're manipulating from frame to frame does not actually exist in the frames anymore. So just make sure you keep this in mind when you are actually animating with Lottie files for Figma. So while you guys prepare, I'm gonna actually give hand over to Sanjeev. If you guys again have any questions, feel free to stop us, put it in the chat. We'll stop in and we'll start answering your questions. So yeah, that's it from my side for now. That's just the basics of how you can actually get started with the tool. I'm then now gonna hand over to Sanjeev to teach you guys something a little bit more complex using the Lottie Files for Figma plugin. So Sanjeev, over to you. I think we'll give these guys like 5-10 minutes just to try out, and then
Yeah,
we'll start with your stuff. All right.
sure, Yamin.
I'll stop sharing so you can start sharing.
Yeah. So let me just share my screen. Sorry, guys. Today I'm with only one screen, so it'll be a bit difficult to look at all the questions if you have in the middle of the presentation. But just bear with me. So while we wait for everybody to finish whatever they're doing right now, let me give a short introduction of myself. My name is Sanjeev, and I'm working with LottieFiles as a senior motion designer. And I was born and brought up in Kolkata, India. And currently, I'm in Bangalore visiting a friend. So I'm taking this call right from there. All right. So before we start, I just wanted to ask this question, like how many of you are familiar with After Effects, and on a scale of like 1 to 5, how like what would you rate yourself? All right, cool. So I would take so the reason why I asked this question is because I would take a few references from After Effects while we go through this advanced techniques to create even more complex animation using the LottieFiles plugin. So even if you are not familiar with After Effects, it's completely fine. Yamin did a great job to make the foundation great to start from there. All right. So in the next example that we're going to be, showing you are going to use two things that the plugin supports. That's strokes and mask. So before we begin, I just want to quickly show you what we are going to make today. So if I go to the prototype and try to preview this prototype that we have made, this is an example of a intro screen of a Aquatrack app where you can see there's a loading animation where you can see like the water is flowing and it is filling up the this circle. So we are going to create exactly this using two things, that is strokes and masks. So, so for that, I'm gonna explain briefly about what is mask and how do we create one inside Figma. So mask is nothing but when we create a shape and I want this shape to be masked inside another shape. So for to in order to do that, we use mask. So for example, I have this shape and let me give it a color, and I will create another shape. For example, this star shape, and I want this shape to go inside this star shape and use the star as a mask. So for that, what we need to do, I need to take this star shape below this rectangle and select both of these shapes and come here and click on use as mask. So now as you can see, this rectangle shape is inside this star, and when I move it, it is only going to be showing inside the star. So using this principle, we can create that same loading animation that we have just seen right now. So for that, what we need to do is we need to have this wavy shape, and what I will do, I will create another uh, instance for the same shape and change its color, something like this. Now I have both these shapes, and I will create a frame, and inside the frame I will create an ellipse, and I'm going to be using this as the mask. And what I will do, I will put these two shapes like this so that they overlaps, and I will let me just bring this shape behind this one, and I will move it inside this. Now I will select all of these shapes and go here and click on use as mask. As now you can see, I have these wavy shapes inside this ellipse that I'm using as a mask. So this is the starting of this animation. This frame is the starting of this animation. And before we create the next one, what I'm going to do, I will create another ellipse, and I will add a stroke, remove the fill, make sure this is outside the mask. Yeah. Let me just do it from the beginning. So create the mask again. Somehow the masking is not working. Let me just create this from the beginning. Yamin, do you have any idea why this is not working?
Which one? Let me check it out.
Yeah.
Give me a sec. I'm actually fixing some animation.
Oh.
You can actually use the wave. Yeah, use this wave. Yeah, should be okay.
Yeah. I'll put it behind, try it again. Now I'll select this and use as mask. Yeah, right now it's working. So what I will do, I will create another ellipse and add stroke, remove the fill, add this blue color. Okay, now I have created the first frame for this animation. Now what I will do, I will create another copy of this first frame, and I will move these wavy shapes up somewhere here and move these frames on their opposite direction like this. And I will select this one. Yeah, sometimes it happens when you move it too fast, it can go outside of the mask. So what you need to do undo and just move it slowly, or you can use this X position and use your mouse to do it.
You can use space as well. So when you drag it, just use space.
Okay.
Yeah.
And move it all the way up so that it fills the entire shape with the wavy shapes. So now that we have done with both the frames, what we will do, we'll make this, we'll move this wavy shapes on the first frame somewhere towards the bottom completely so that you cannot see them. Now we have to go to prototypes and add a link between this two frames. And for this, I will choose Smart Animate and I will go with a custom base here. And I will do something like this. Or we can just use ease in, ease out. That translates the same thing. And I will put the duration as like 2000, like 2 seconds. So now, and I'm gonna rename this as loading animation. And I'll go to LottieFiles, open the LottieFiles plugin, and go to export to Lottie and select this same prototype that I have just created. Oh, maybe it is, yeah, this one. So as you can see right now, it's a bit fast because for that, I can go back and change the duration between these two frames. And for that, I will simply put like 5 seconds and click on this refresh flow button. Now it's a bit slower. So this is how we can create this loading animation that you have just seen right now. And in order to animate the stroke, what you can do on the first frame, you can reduce the weight of this ellipse strokes to somewhere 2, and on the second frame you can increase the stroke width up to 10, and this is how you can also animate the stroke width as well. So after that, you just need to create the refresh flow button. So yeah, anyone have any question? All good. Okay, so moving on, towards the next example, where we again are going to be using the same principles, that is masking, and create something a little bit different. For that, for this, what we will go. So in the previous example, what we were seeing that we were moving the shapes that was inside the frame. But for the next example, what we will do, we are going to be keeping the shape that's there inside the mask still and move the shape that is outside. So in order to understand this in a better way, what we will do, we will create this example. Just open the LottieFiles plugin, click on this prototype, that is cute ghost. Yeah, this one. So in this example, as you can see, the thing that is inside the mask is not moving. That is the wavy shape. But the shape that is outside, which is the ghost body, is moving from left to right. So we can also use mask to create something like this. So for that, what we will do, we will create a frame, and I will bring this shape over here and bring this wavy shape as well. And I will select both these shapes and click on use as mask. So I need to do this. Let me reduce the size of this a little bit and change the ghost body something to this. I will also put this other elements like the eyes. Now on to the next frame, what I will do, I will move this rectangle shape along with the eyes towards its left, sorry, towards the right. So that becomes the two frames that all I'm going to be needing for this animation to work. So I'll go to prototype and I will create an interaction between these two. And I will choose smart animate and I'll choose ease and ease out, and with a duration of, let's say, 3 seconds. And I also want this like ghost character to come back to its original position. So for that, I will again connect it back to the first frame and keep the same, once again, smart animate. Yeah, keep the same settings. So in order to view this, I will open LottieFiles plugin and select this flow that I have just created. So right now, as you can see, it's a bit slow. So for that, what we can do is we can go back and change the duration. Right now it's 3 seconds. I can put it as 2 seconds, and while it is coming back, it's 300. Let's make it as 3 as well. No, 2. And let me just refresh this animation again. So as you can see, maybe I need to go to custom base here and speed it up a little bit in the middle. Do the same thing when it's coming back. me see this. Now it's much smoother than before. So yeah, so using this masking feature, you can easily create examples like this, and export Lottie animation right from the LottieFiles plugin. Any question?
First, so let me check out what you mean. Object eyes are not moving. Okay.
From left to right, does it make sense?
Can you maybe I can follow you and I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
Or maybe yeah. Can you tag us on the Figma file? Then I can jump in.
I don't think we can follow.
So if you guys have any questions, feel free to tag us. We'll just jump in and we'll help you guys out as much as
Yeah. We're going to spend some time over here to look at some examples that people are creating with mask, if they are. First example 2. Oh, this is good. Is also nice. The only thing that I would suggest to fix about this animation that it's not looping. Like when this animation is starting, it's starting from here and it's ending abruptly. If this animation ends where it starts, I think it would look good. So, all right. So as of now, we were discussing like things that you can create with a single flow. But in order to create more advanced things, you can use multivariant components for multivariant components to create even more complex examples. So multivariant components is nothing but when you have two animations separately created and you want to bring them together inside one Lottie files. So for that, what we need to do is, as you can see in the example, we have this animation that is done in this, that is done inside this component. And we also have another animation that is done inside this component. And in this example, we have put this home animation and this sun rays animation inside one frame. And you can view this just by, you just need to add a flow here. And you can open the LottieFiles plugin and select this prototype that I have just added. So as you can see, both these animations were done inside different components, and inside this frame, we have put both the animations together in order to create one single animation. So this is how you can create a complex animation using multivariate components. So how you can create this, we'll go through that right now. So for this example, we're going to be creating something like this. where just let me play this one. This. So here in this example, as you can see, we have the ghost body animated inside one component, and the facial expressions are done inside another component. And inside this, and putting these two components inside one frame, we are able to create an animation like this. So let me just start by creating a frame first. And I have a shape here. And on the next frame, what I will do, I will make it a little bit bigger. And on the next one, I'll just copy paste the one that I have in the first frame. And I will go to prototype and connect them. Put ease in and out. Let's give it 500. And then I'll do the same thing again. Yeah. Now I have this animation ready. So I'll just rename it as rectangle. Now what I will do, I will select all the frames and come to design tab and click here on these three dots and click on create component set. So what it has done, it has put all these three frames inside one component and made each frame as variants. Now what I will do, I will create another frame and create another animation. And for this, I will create a shape. Make it a little bit bigger. And paste it here. And I will again go to prototype and connect the frames just we did before. Okay, now again, I will select all these frames and go here and click on create component set. Now that I have created two animations, what I will do, I want to bring both this animation inside one Lottie animation. So for that, I will create another frame and come here, select the first variant of this component, click option and drag the first variant and put it inside this. And I will do the same. Before that, let me just give them a different color so that it's easier to follow. And for the star, I will choose something like yellow. And I will do the same. I will bring the first variant of this component, press option, click and drag, and put it inside this frame. So right now, as you can see, we cannot see the layer that is behind this star because these layers had the background fill. We need to remove them. So I'll just click these frames and remove the fill color. Same for this as well. So now as you can see, I have brought this rectangle animation and the star animation inside the frame. And I would like to see how it is looking right now. So for that, what I need to do is go to prototype, and as you can see, it already has a flow. So for that, I will open LottieFiles and click rectangle one. Yeah, maybe I will do some variation so that it is easier to follow. I'll make it small and make both this animation a little bit bigger. Yeah. So as you can see, the rectangle animation were done separately inside this component, and the star animation was done inside this component, and we have put them together inside this one frame to make it a single Lottie animation. So yeah, so this is how we can create more complex and advanced animation using multivariant components. So do you guys have any question?
Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free. Don't feel shy to ask any questions. I see that some of you guys are asking questions on the Figma chat, so I'm actually answering a few of those as well. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. We'll spend a couple of minutes here before I actually show you guys how the entire motion design ecosystem works, and of course introduce the challenge. So just before we go to that, feel free to if you feel shy to put it in the chat, feel free to DM me as well using the Berry channel, or just feel free to tag me and I'll come in. I'll help you guys out. So maybe something. Let's give like 5 to 10 minutes, and then after that, I'll take over to the handoff side.
Sure, I mean.
If something is not working for you, let us know as well. Please don't wait until the end of the workshop. So we're here until I guess 8:30. So just feel free to make use of this time. We'll show you guys some other tool that it is coming out in January. A little bit of a tease of that as well. And yeah, just keep asking us a lot of questions for the end of the thing. This is like, see, Sanjib, I think people are already pros. That's why they're not asking us questions, because we're seeing things like this lime reverse.
Yeah, this is so cool.
Mohammed, I thought that you needed a basic class, but I think you guys need an advanced class.
Yeah.
Where should we be submitting animation? Don't worry, I'll after I do the handoff part where you guys can become a developer's best friend. I will show you guys how you can do submit the animation. Don't worry about it. We'll show you guys before the end of the session. I think there's a thermometer.
I'm not being able to find this flow in the list. This one, I want to see this. Oh,
6128.
2 8.
Should be up. Yeah, should there.
2 3.
Refresh your
Oh, okay,
just go
okay.
to workspace. Yeah, then go back. Yeah, should be there now.
Yeah,
There you go.
this is
Cool.
some sort of a physics simulation.
No, I think that's because maybe explain why how to use path points. Because sometimes when you flip path points, so since maybe Sanjib can explain a little bit more better than I could. But sometimes when you flip the path points, it still recognizes the original path point. So what happens if when you flip, you don't actually get the flame icon done. But what you can actually do, maybe so you can maybe show a demo on how path
Yeah.
points work. Yeah.
So, like, how would like normally how if you need to make sure that the path points are same in all the frames. So, what do I mean by that is, let's say you have this frame, right? And you want to make a flame animation. Just copy this. And if you go to edit mode, just see how many path points you have. So you have this many path points. So you need to make sure that you have this number of path points in all your frames. And you can modify, you can just click here, modify this Bezier handles and, modify your shape. But please make sure you add another point somewhere here and in the middle of your flow, it can, break the animation. So if I keep it as it is and move it to the next frame, and let's make it a little bit bigger and do some, let me edit the path a little bit so that there is a variation in the flame. Just doing it a little quickly. Just bear with me. You can also change its color. Again, do some variation with the shape.
So like when path points also cross each other, like if they say it crosses from one point to the other, there's gonna be problems as well. Abdul says he already got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for this, you need to do prototype because you want this to change faster. $100. And prototype number 69. So this can be made, even more perfect if we spend some time to master the shape with the basic handles and everything. So yeah.
All right. Thanks, Sanjib.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna take over for a little bit, and maybe I'll
Sure,
show
sure.
you guys a little bit on. All right. Yeah. I saw the question in the chat as well by Faisal. I'm so Before I go show you guys like what the final challenge is, of course, to get the Figma Lottie certification, let me just go back and then we'll show you guys, and we'll keep some question time for you guys to ask questions as well. So, of course, let's say you are done with your animation. There are a couple of ways you can actually do a handoff. So, just before that, I think you guys already know you can do like auto layout is also supported. Text and gradients are also supported. So once you're done with your animation, let me just go back. I just made a very simple animation here. Like I just added some mouth and some mouth movements, some eye movements of it actually going left and right. So maybe let me just do a little bit close up here. I think somebody asked if the eyes can be moved. Yes, it can be moved. Um, can even do things like this as well, but let's keep it like this. I made an animation called bouncing. All right, here we go. So now you have this bouncing animation here. Yes, first of all, you can actually have a different setting for each frame. All right, let's say I want this to be different. I can have ease out here, and here I can actually have linear. Again, it depends on what you want to achieve. All right, so I'm gonna save this to my workspace. So let me just go here. I'm gonna add this to this file called demo, and I'm actually gonna save this file. So there are multiple ways you can actually do a handoff to your developer. Now, if you yeah, welcome, Faisal. So one way you can actually do the handoff is, let's say you are on a enterprise plan of Figma. You can actually add insert it back as a GIF into Figma, and you can actually get the codes with the LottieFiles for Figma Dev Mode plugin within Figma. But of course, it's a paid plan. I'm not going to talk about the paid plans. I'm going to show you guys the free version of how this entire thing came together. So let me just open the animation. I'm going to open this in the browser. And there you go. Now I actually have this animation on the LottieFiles workspace. Now there are a lot of things that happens with the LottieFiles ecosystem. So this the question which was asked is in the chat was, can you actually make changes in the Lottie animation after you're done creating? Not with LottieFiles, you actually can. With our entire ecosystem, you can actually put it back into a couple of other tools out there. One of the tools recently with our After Effects update, you can actually put the animation now back into After Effects. Even if you make it with Figma or any other tool, you can actually put it back into After Effects, make changes, and export again as a Lottie as well. Now, of course, if you don't want to go through After Effects, there you can, even for Figma, of course, you can keep making changes, and you can actually jump it back in. But of course, now inside the workspace, there are some other tools you can actually use to actually make changes. Now, a lot of you might be very familiar with variables. You can now actually do variables for animations as well. So right now we have a tool called Lottie Creator. So we can actually go here, open the animation in Lottie Creator. Oh, right. Also, we have something called in motion going on. You can actually check it out. This was not planned at all. So let's say you can actually go back. You can Lottie Creator is like a advanced. So Lottie export file export SVG on this. It's actually a Lottie file export in Lottie file format in SVG somewhere. So anything that goes into the platform are Lottie animations. These are not in any other file format. Of course, in Figma, what happens is that Figma doesn't natively support Lottie. So what we do is we allow people to add Lottie animations into the prototypes as GIFs. But each GIF actually has metadata as part of the Lottie file format, so that the GIF also has the URL and everything, so that if you use dev mode on Figma, You can grab the Lottie asset URL directly within Figma. I'll show that a little bit later as well when we have time. For now, so yeah, if you want to add like say variables into the Lottie animation, you can actually open that. We can even do this as well, create theme. So let's open the file within Lottie Creator. So you can do a lot of complex things in there. Let's say I want to use this here. Like for example, let's say I want to add a couple of keyframes to this, and I actually want this entire thing to land here instead of where it's landing now. So I can just grab everything, put that in, and now I can keep making these simple changes within the plugin itself. So for example, of course, with Figma, you can actually make the basis foundation of it. If you don't like it, put it into Lottie Creator, and you can actually start editing that animation within Lottie Creator. Now, the magic now is that, of course, these days we have this thing called theming. With theming, what you can actually do is, let's see, you can actually assign a design token. Let me just call this monster ball color. And now what I can actually do is I can go to Theme Manager, and I can start adding multiple themes into this. Let's say I will call this light theme, and I'll call this dark. And then what I'm gonna do is for light, I'll keep it as green, and for dark mode, let me just go for white. Now when I play the animation, I can just go here, go to sorry, it's light mode. All right, I can go to dark mode, and give me a sec. Yeah, I need to change all of this into white. Sorry. There we go. Right now, I actually have two separate animations, one for light mode and one for dark mode. Just keep in mind, it with Figma Lottie, it takes from frame by frame. So for each frame, I need to assign a color. But of course, when you make a Lottie creator, it's a little bit different as well. So you can actually assign the colors. And then, of course, now we have an AI where you can actually generate themes as well. So, for example, let's say you have one animation, but you want to generate multiple themes. You can also do that within the plugin itself as well. The thing is, what you're seeing now is a .lottie. So with .lottie, this is a smaller file format. You can add multiple animations to one file and multiple themes into one file as well. So after this is done, of course, what I can actually do, so I just go here for light mode, and I'm going to export this out into my workspace. Let's call this FOF Lahore ball animation. All right, so now once this is done, let's say I have a no-code tool like, let's say, Framer, right? I can actually open the LottieFiles plugin. Let me just sign up in. Private access. And I can actually go here. I can go to my work file, and I can add this in. Now, with different plugins that we have as an ecosystem, there are ways you can actually assign different modes as well. Right now with Framer, of course, they support light mode and dark mode. That's why we only have two modes, but there are multiple things which we can do, which I will show a little bit on the dev side as well in a little bit. So what you can do is you can insert the animation, insert it into the container. All right, there we go. And let me put as fill and fill. So now on dark mode, I have the animation. Again, you don't have to recreate anything for your dark mode, light mode. With just one single animation, you can actually have two modes applied with on Framer. Oops, sorry, that's the wrong one. And there we go. So now you can actually have both animations within one single frame. With just one single animation, you can have multiple colors assigned to it as well. And not only that, so if you're thinking if it's just one single thing, one single color, you can actually do. Let me also share this code pen, which we were testing out a few weeks back. Give me a second. Here we go. So this was an animation made by our studio team. If you guys want to check it out, there we go. Now with just one click, I can actually keep changing. And again, this can actually help to make your animation more interactive by just assigning. Right now, it's only available for colors, but we are working on assigning opacity, scale, multiple other things as well to theming. But right now, these are some cool things you can actually achieve with just one single animation. You can also try. This is currently my favorite one. You can even, if you have an idea of how color works, you can even achieve things like this as well. For example, you want to change the season. And again, this is just one animation. Just with using color, you can add these into the animation. Again, let me just put in the thing as well. And of course, color doesn't is not the only way you can actually achieve these things. You can even make color assigned by buttons as well. For example, here on hover, you can actually have the animation color change. All right. So, and how you can actually hand off the file? Well, once you're done, go back to this thing called handoff, click it, and there we go. Now you have all the codes and everything. Just share this with your dev. Your dev will immediately understand exactly what he needs to actually implement any animation that he has in mind. We're talking about if you not embed URL, embed HTML, you can actually get those as well. React, iOS, Android, and let's say you even your developer wants it in a certain file. Go to downloads. Multiple ways you can actually download the file and actually hand it off to your developer. And with that, your connection or your problems with your developer are actually 95% of it's solved, because now you don't actually need to worry about them demanding anything, because your animation will look exactly the way you're actually seeing it on screen. All right. And again, let me also share this as well if you guys want to go check it out. And again, feel free to play this out with this. You can actually click and change. This animation was made in Figma, and we actually imported it back into Creator to add a little bit more touch to create something a little bit more advanced. All right, that's it for the handoff. If you have any questions, feel free to put in the chat. It's very simple. You export it, you add it back into your workspace, and you can actually hand it off from here. For Figma dev mode, I think we have a little bit more time before I can actually wrap this up. Let me see. I have multiple files here. Let me just go through one of them. Oops, sorry. All teams. As you can see, we have a very good plan with Figma. Sanjib, can you link me to a file which has dev mode?
Yeah, I mean, let me just find it.
Sure. Okay. In the meantime, while Sanjib shares with me a Figma link, I can show you guys. So this is the end of the entire workshop. Now that we've taught you guys how you can actually add, like, the foundation of the entire plugin, well, this is the how you can actually get the certificate. So I want to see its file. All right. So, all right, if you can follow me here. So in order for you to get the certificate, we want to actually for you guys to actually prove that you can actually make an animation using Figma to Lottie. Um, as always, there are multiple workspaces. You guys can just feel free to come in and borrow. So what you guys we want you guys to do, since of course December holidays are coming up, for New Year holidays are coming up, we want you to make a vacation themed animation using Figma to Lottie. And of course, there are just two rules. we don't accept animations with single frame animations and multiple frame animations. Um, we only accept prototype animations because we want you to guys to utilize the prototyping function and prove to us that you understand the entire thing. And of course, you can do multi-component animations, which Sanjeev just showed as well. You can create anything, animated icons, buttons, whatever moves that looks cool. And again, it doesn't have to be 50 frames. It can even be 2 frames, 3 frames. It doesn't matter. What we want to see is if you guys understand the foundations of the entire thing. Um, and here's the thing. So in order to get certified, oops, I think somebody just moved this. No problem. What you need to do is after you're done with your animation, you can go to this link. Here we go. All right. So there are a couple of questions that we also always ask. So you can actually go here, click to continue, put in your name, say Yamin, Yamin, and put in your email. Rate the workshop. If you really like it, put 5 stars. If you don't like it, of course, put 1 or 2 or 3. You like an honest feedback. So this is the most important part of this entire submission. So after, let's say you're done with your animation, what we need you guys to do is go here, click right click, copy link to section, copy this, and actually paste it here. So what we're going to do is we're going to be judging your frames. Even if you insert a GIF, we'll ask you to resubmit the frames. So we want to see the frames. We want to see what you might have done wrong, so you can actually help you out to actually improve your animation. And again, don't feel like, if you feel like you're not actually achieving something, don't feel bad. We will actually help you out to create your animation, so that if you run into any problems, if you see the frames, we're able to tell you what you have done wrong, so you can actually improve it to actually make your animation journey even better. After this, of course, there are a couple of more other questions you can check out as well. And we're giving you a deadline of 27 December, 23:59 Pakistan time, Lahore time. So if you submit by 27 midnight, we mostly give 2 to 3 days, but we're giving you guys 6 days to complete an animation. And again, it can be anything. And also, these are some free assets if you guys want to try out as well. It's not a must to use these assets. You can bring in your own assets as well. And during these 6 days, me and Sanjeev will be available. So if you guys are in any problems, comment on the Figma file. We'll jump in. We'll try to help you out, and we'll try to see how we can help you out to correct your mistakes and make something pretty cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the workshop. All right. Well, thanks, Sanjeev. So just before we end, I think I did talk about the oh, Sanjeev, I need sorry, I
Oh,
need
okay,
to
okay.
edit like this. No problem. All right, there we go. Right. So once you're done, let's say you have, so there are multiple ways you can do a handoff as well. If you're doing a handoff within Figma, let me just go back here, go back to my plugin. Can I switch this to dev mode? No.
So yeah, I mean, you need to toggle that dev mode button at
Yeah,
the
there we go.
bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was wondering where the shortcut was. It's okay. It's there. I'm still used to the old UI, so I still keep going back to that. So let's say the animation we made just now of the bouncing ball. I can insert this back in. Let me take the first one. It was the one that we just made. All right, here we go. I can insert this as a GIF into the. Let's say this is a prototype and you have it in. I can insert it back into the prototype. Of course, don't worry if it's pixelated. Figma only allows you as a GIF, but when you give it for production, there'll be no problems. All right, so let me just make it ready for dev. All right, And I will go here. I will open LottieFiles for Figma dev mode. Here we go. Oh, okay. Log in as always. So once you're done with your design, you can actually do this. You can click the animation. So when you do the handoff, you can also hand off all of the codes and everything within Figma. Again, this is depending if you have a Figma plan. If you don't have Figma plan, you can follow the steps I showed before. But if you have a Figma plan, you can actually create and design the animation within Figma, hand off to your dev also within Figma as well. And again, all a few basic interactions are available as well. And your dev can just immediately grab these codes and implement in the production side as well. And yeah, that's it. I think we are early. So at least sorry for being early, but that was the final thing. And yeah, that's the workshop. So hopefully I'll see a lot of animation from you guys. And yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much, Yamin and Sanjeev, and I hope everyone enjoy the workshop and learn a lot. So thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope we will work on the assignment, you can say. So thank you everyone. Have a nice weekend. Thank you so much, Yamin, once again, and Sanjeev, for your time and for your contribution towards our community. And we will get back to you soon with the
yeah.
complete assignments, and that's all from our side.
Yeah. If you guys have like any questions between the deadline, and if you have, just feel free to tag us. Me and Sanjib will jump in immediately. We'll have to debug if you guys run into any problems. And of course, can't wait to do something in person in Lahore, probably next year. But
Yes,
we can do something a little bit more interesting.
sure, sure. Most welcome on time.